Hello, volleyball fans. We're coming to you inside Turner Gymnasium on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. It's tournament time in Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinal. I'm Kyle Haney, my partner Ski, Ethan Maratsky. Ethan, a long season that starts, in late August, culminates tonight. For one team, it will be their final game. For one squad, they'll be moving on to the ODAC semifinal, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been excited about this all day. This game can't start fast enough. I'm super happy to see the Lynchburg Hornets hosting their first ODAC playoff game since 2020. What's interesting about both these teams is that this is both their coaches' first games, and I'm super excited because all these players are new to the playoffs. Most of these players are new to the playoffs, and even the coaches are new, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Kevin Cardoza in his first season on campus here at Lakeside Drive has got his Lynchburg team with an 18-11 record. Guilford College, coached by Kelsey Goodman in her first season, 13-12. Lynchburg's the 4 seed, Guilford the 5 seed. You get some statistical analysis there. A lot of those numbers are pretty similar. Both these teams really serve it well, over 2.2 aces per contest. Lynchburg, the attack percentage this season is over 200. And really, since about midway through the year, Lynchburg has taken off. Both these teams are playing great right now, Ski. Lynchburg's won 5 in a row. They've won 7 of their last 8. Guilford has won 5 of their last 6. The one they did not win was a contest about a week and a half ago down in Guilford. Lynchburg, a straight set win against the Quakers, and you've got Ski's keys to victories.
Yeah, absolutely. And Guilford versus Lynchburg regular season, University of Lynchburg took 3-0 against Guilford, a complete sweep. For Guilford, their first key, it's going to be nullify the front line. We know Ava Meinhardt, Tori Williamson, Leah DiNardo. Lynchburg's got a packed front line, so if they can just cancel that out and make sure that they can't make an impact on this game, that's how they're going to have a really good game tonight. And second is take advantage of a
in Guilford. Lynchburg, a straight set win against the Quakers, and you've got Ski's keys to victories.
Yeah, absolutely. And Guilford versus Lynchburg regular season, University of Lynchburg took 3-0 against Guilford, a complete sweep. For Guilford, their first key, it's going to be nullify the front line. We know Ava Meinhardt, Tori Williamson, Leah DiNardo. Lynchburg's got a packed front line, so if they can just cancel that out and make sure that they can't make an impact on this game, that's how they're going to have a really good game tonight. And second is take advantage of opponent errors. When we're looking at Lynchburg, one thing that we always bring up is that one thing they struggle on is errors, whether it's serving or mental errors. Moving on to Lynchburg, we're going to have minimize the mental mistakes. Like we were just talking about, Lynchburg, they know they're good enough. They're a really great team. They have a good front line, good setter, good serving, like you were talking about. But if they can just minimize the small mental mistakes that has brought teams back into matches earlier this season, that's going to be really the definition, what defines them, and if they can go far in this playoff. And lastly, it's stay true to yourself. These girls out here, they know how good they are. If they can just stay true to themselves and play their volleyball, it's going to help them, and they're going to crush this playoffs.
I love everything you said there. I think it's going to be a fantastic contest. Maybe one on paper that Lynchburg looks like they've got the big advantage. They had the sweep less than 2 weeks ago. But as you know, playoff time, you kind of throw out all the rules. Anything can happen. I think the Guilford Quakers are going to take that mindset tonight, and they'll think they can storm an upset. And if you're Lynchburg, you got to hope the stats and the seeding does hold true. And you do take confidence from that game a week and a half ago, don't you? If you're Lynchburg, I mean, it's still pretty fresh in your mind.
Absolutely. It was only a couple weeks ago that they swept Guilford, and if you're Guilford, you're going to want to come out and just change the complete mental mindset and say, you beat us the last time, but this is ODAC playoffs. Anything can happen, and it's hard to beat a team 2 times in a regular season, in just a season in general. We talked about it with the men's soccer ODAC playoffs. It's hard to beat teams 2 times, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. I think it could go either way.
I agree with you, and we can't wait to bring it to you. We've got first serve coming up in less than 5 minutes. Ethan and Kyle will meet you back at the net right here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
The Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network is proud to present Old Dominion Athletic Conference Volleyball. From inside Turner Gymnasium, it's tournament time inside Turner. An ODAC quarterfinal. Lynchburg, the number 4 seed, 18-11 this year, 8-4 in conference play, Ethan. All 8 of Lynchburg's conference wins were sweeps, so when they won, they were dominant. Now, obviously, the losses, there's some issues there. You lost 4, some of those to the teams that are ahead of them in the conference tournament, which we will discuss the rest of the action tonight in ODAC play. But this is a Lynchburg team that has been very good this season. They beat Guilford less than 2 weeks ago. The Quakers will come in as the 5 seed, 13-12, 7-5 in ODAC play.
Well, obviously the most important thing to look at isn't wins that a team has, it's losses. It's how can the team recuperate after taking devastating losses. We go back and look at Lynchburg. A bunch of their losses that they've taken so far, especially in this gymnasium, they were up sets. They just let teams get back into games. You look at the game against Virginia Wesleyan, they were up in the 5th set by a couple points and they had some minor mental errors. So it's really going to test this team to see what they can do in the playoffs, especially with new coaching staffs.
First set was tight to the net, but the setter, Maddie Page, snuck it over with the right arm. So Guilford gets your first lead of the evening. Quakers in the white top, black shorts. Lynchburg at home, black on black look. There's Ava Meinhardt with the first swing for the Hornets. That's fended off. Natalie Moore got sent back. Quakers will keep this one alive. Lynchburg looks to get in system. Leak to Spainauer off the block and out, and we are tied up 1-1. 1 apiece as Bree Spainauer gets the first kill, first Lynchburg point. She had an outstanding night on Friday against Marymount in the win, 11 kills there. Lynchburg did play Catholic and Marymount on Friday. That was their last 2 games, both 4-set wins. Guilford has won 5 of their last 6. The lone loss in that span was to Lynchburg. Hornets are going to get another point, and Lynchburg has won 5 in a row, 7 of their last 8. And really been playing great volleyball, as we've said a couple times, since about midway through this season.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 straight wins so far for the Hornets to end out the season. The perfect way to enter the postseason.
We've got some players to keep an eye on that we'll discuss here as this first set goes on. We are tied 2-2. There's Natalie Moore, who is one of the conference's best. That's not the player we have identified for Guilford, but we'll be talking about Natalie Moore a bunch. She had 17 kills and 14 digs versus Ferrum in Guilford's win against the Panthers on Friday. Substitutions for Lynchburg: Emma Cash and Leah DiNardo in. So there's your lead in right there, Ethan. Let's talk about Leah DiNardo some as she goes to the front row. Emma Cash serving.
Leah DiNardo, she's a great youngster on this team. As we look at her freshman numbers, 12 kills against Guilford last time they came out at Guilford too. Lynchburg won 3-0. Leah DiNardo, easily one of the top players on this team, had a really great night, and we're going to be looking at her to see if she can have just as good of a night here at home.
And really one of the best in the conference when you're talking about the Frosh from Virginia Beach. Leah DiNardo, 5th in ODAC in attack percentage. And she's swinging it at .308 this year. The blocking numbers are good too. She's 2nd on the Lynchburg team in blocking. And for Guilford, let's talk about their player to watch. It's another young one, the sophomore from San Juan, Puerto Rico, Crisbel Alcantara is the player that we've picked out for the Quakers that could be key.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that stands out right away is Puerto Rico. I mean, that's fantastic to get recruiting from all the way out there. It's not too far away if you're looking at a globe, but Puerto Rico, that's not easy to get recruitment from.
Yeah, great point. Fantastic to have a little Latin flair on the team, and she can play. There's one off the block and out, tied up 4-4. It'll be a Lynchburg serve with Abby Barlow coming in. So you've got Barlow, Williamson, and Morgan Clark in the back row right now for Lynchburg. Really good passing trio there. And Kevin Cardozo thought serve and serve receive would be very key tonight. And it's interesting, both coaches thought that as well. Great diving dig from Abby Barlow to keep that one off the floor. Good rally developing here. Kaylee Keogh from just off court drops it in there. Took pace off, little change-up shot. Lynchburg's got their first lead at 5-4.
Kaylee Keogh is so good at doing that. We already know she's got an absolute cannon of a spike, but she's so good at recognizing play and seeing the open spaces in the middle of the floor. And sometimes it's not all about power. Getting precision on that ball is just as important.
High volleyball IQ, beach player as well, Kaylee Keogh. Abby Barlow couldn't do the gardening that time as she tried to slide the spatula underneath. Tied up again, 5-5. Yeah, coach for Guilford, Kelsey Goodman, and myself had a little email conversation. She said one of their big keys coming into the season was serving tough. And both of these teams do have great ace numbers. They get you out of system with the tough serves, really pressure your passers on the back line. You saw one right there as Morgan Clark had to move to handle it. Another tip shot from Keogh. Williamson will keep that alive. Bump set from Leak to Keogh. Now the Quakers get a chance to get in system. A swing from off court, wide right, and Lynchburg's taking the lead back, 6-5 Hornets.
These errors from both these teams, it's really going to be the telling point in every single set that we're going to see here tonight. Errors have been causing Lynchburg losses, whether that's serving errors, kill errors, or even just mental mistakes. So it's going to be interesting to see come play, and I'm going to say that a lot, come playoff time, anything can happen.
Another big point started with the Abby Barlow dig. Another fantastic diving pancake there from Barlow. She's moving well early. Lynchburg has a 2-point advantage with Kaylee Keogh serving. Kaylee Keogh's serve numbers are really good. 2nd on the team in aces behind Jana Leak. Big swing there. Keogh is right where she's supposed to be to take that one. Tori Williamson tried to tip down the line. That's wide. And so there's kind of what you just talked about, Ethan. It wasn't a block that got the point for Guilford. It was the tip shot going wide, the hitting error from Tori Williamson.
Yeah, I don't blame her for trying something early on in the game. You know, it can help you get some momentum, but these errors, and we see one right there on the serving, these errors are really going to be what turns the tide in this game.
Guilford lost to Lynchburg on November 1st. Straight sets there. First set was close, 25-23. Second set, 25-22, so probably still falls under that close category. And then Lynchburg was more of a blowout. Speaking of blowouts, that had some sizzle on it as the Quakers get close now, 8-7 Lynchburg. And you've got changes coming in for Guilford. Both these teams will use kind of an 8-9 player rotation, Ethan. And right now at this point in the season, you've pretty much identified who your bread and butter is on both sides. So I think we will see some substitutes that could be a factor, but for the most part, we know who the tough customers are going to be, and there's one right there. Ava Meinhardt, the sophomore from Jefferson City, goes off the hands and out for another Lynchburg point.
Well, you said it, partner. We look at Coach Cardozo, and he loves subbing people out, and especially people that we haven't really seen much all season. And we saw Kara Taylor and Landon Spots getting some time early on in the season. But like you said, it's come playoff time, you really know which players you're going to go to. But with Coach Cardozo, you really never know.
Yeah, and that's, again, part of the fun about the playoffs. Sometimes somebody you don't expect gets the job done. There's another serve in the net. That was Maddie Page. She's got some great career numbers. We'll talk about Maddie Page in just a second. Tori Williamson serving now. Another sophomore for Lynchburg. There is a host of juniors for this Hornet team, but there are first years and sophomores that have played major contributing factors. There's Kaylee Keogh, one of those juniors with a swing that was stunted, and then there's a block up front. Ava Meinhardt putting the top on the defense for Lynchburg. She is the team leader in that category, just under 1 block per set. Outstanding feel and timing on that one.
Well, just as you were talking about the youngsters of how many sophomores and freshmen we have that are key players, there's Ava Meinhardt, one of the best sophomores in the ODAC, showing off why she is so good.
Another stuff there. Guilford will rebuild. Went to the back line, and that is in. Perfect placement from the junior, Casey Johnson. Double digs 11 times this season, or excuse me, double-digit kills, rather, 11 times this season. That one perfectly placed. As you could see from our replay, it's Natalie Moore serving for Guilford. Jumps into that one. Morgan Clark will handle. Kaylee Keogh cross court, and she gets that one through the block and down. KK with another kill for Lynchburg. And Leah DiNardo back in the game, so is Emma Cash. Cash to serve, DiNardo up front as the middle. So the substitution pattern, second time Lynchburg has done this. Second serving run Cash has had. That ate up the libero for Guilford, Madison Bozarth. That one's in the corner and good for a Quaker point. Guilford hanging around here, down 2.
Guilford doing a really good job finding that back line. We were talking about how power is really good, but really it comes down to precision. And even when we're going back to that Kaylee Keogh point that we saw, we talked about the precision she has and the mindset of knowing where the players are on the court, but that power just got mixed up in that block.
Bree Spainhour will find a crack. A termination for Bree Spainhour, who's had sort of an up and down year. So many offensive weapons for Lynchburg. Sometimes Bree Spainhour will have those nights where she'll get a dozen, 15, 16 kills, and then other nights she's in the single digits. But ultra-talented Bree Spainhour and a 2-sports star. She'll be joining the women's basketball team as soon as volleyball season ends, and all the Lynchburg fans hope volleyball season continues for a while. Nice dig from Bozarth to keep that one alive. Big rip, good rally right here, maybe the best of the night so far. Keogh will tip. Natalie Moore runs into that one with one hand. They'll go to the same spot. That one hit the net and wouldn't get over. That was Crispell Alcantara. Sort of a miss hit, it looked like, and Lynchburg leads by 4.
Well, she tried to go across court there, and that's exactly what we're talking about, where really good rallies could go either way, but it's all defined by one small, minor mistake. And we're going to have to see how both teams can overcome these errors.
Moore will roll one to the back row. Tori Williamson handles. Kaylee Keogh again. That had smoke coming off of it. An absolute heater from Kaylee Keogh. That will bring the timeout from the Guilford College Quakers. We'll stay right here. Lynchburg leading 15-10. Let's talk about these two coaches again here. Mr. Morotsky, as you get another look at that one from Kaylee Keogh. Yeah, that is the fastball. She will tip. She will give you the changeup, but she will also use the fastball as well. Guilford College, coached by Kelsey Goodman in her first season. She played at Roanoke, an assistant at Seton Hall, and also Randolph College. She actually spent 1 year as the head coach at Mitchell College, but her first season down in Greensboro with Guilford. And on the other side, the Lynchburg Hornets, coached by Kevin Cardozo. 14 years of coaching experience. His first year as a head coach. He looks like he knows exactly what he's doing on that Lynchburg sideline, doesn't he, Ethan?
Oh, absolutely. In between every single timeout set, and not even just the timeouts and sets, but in between points, there is always something that he is saying to one of his players, whether they're on the bench, whether it's one of his coaches on the bench, or even just the player on the field. You took the words right out of my mouth. Coach Cardozo knows exactly what he's doing.
He's an intense guy, fiery guy, very funny. I told him he ought to think about stand-up comedy. He's got that stage presence. He could really make you laugh, too. We were having fun. But, he mentioned and echoed a lot of the things we've been saying as far as keys to the game, and some of them are volleyball cliches as far as serving tough and eliminating the errors like you have been talked about. He said, when we play our game, we're one of those top-tier teams in the ODAC. The 4th seed proves that, but we have to play our game. We can't just roll out there and expect to win because Guilford's not going to let that happen. Right now, the Quakers are down 5 in set 1 action. This is the 4-5 matchup. We'll talk about the rest of the tournament bracket. Kaylee Keough got a tip there? No tip. That ball was out. And that's a point for the Quakers. They needed that coming out of the timeout. They needed that in general as number 18, Vivian Cavatiayo, checking in, as she's a first year from North Carolina, Winterville, North Carolina, to serve for the Quakers. Yeah, all is not lost here for Guilford. Lynchburg's been great when they win first sets this year. Natalie Moore, solo stuff from Leah DiNardo. She timed that up perfectly. Saw Moore flying in from the back row, and DiNardo was right place, right time. Watch it again here. This is absolute perfection from a solo block.
Well, that's exactly one of the reasons why she's one of the players to watch here tonight. Not only is she good in the kill column, but she can stuff anybody if she's in the right area.
Setter attack there. Morgan Clark was on it, overpass, but it's not going to hurt Lynchburg, not yet anyway. Ooh, that one Abby Barlow just could not quite slide the spatula underneath. Good rally there for Guilford. The Quakers are playing tough. You got to win some of those pinball rallies, some of those where you're out of system or maybe out of position, maybe both. And Guilford survived that one to stay within 4. This is Zoe Wisnant serving for Guilford. Here's DiNardo, middle attack. How about that one? How'd they keep that off the hardwood? Lynchburg will try again. This time it's Kaylee Keough back row. Another nice dig. Natalie Moore, tip and down for a termination. I like the way Guilford is hanging around. Kind of scrappy volleyball right now from the Quakers.
Well, absolutely, and even going back to the timeout, you talked about the points right after timeout are so crucial, especially because you cannot let this Lynchburg team get momentum. And even when this Lynchburg team has momentum, you have to keep in mind that they're going to give you opportunities to get back into the game.
Vanessa Johnson and Maddie Page combining for a block. It may have been a hitting error as Tori Williamson, I think, just put that one into the mesh. But all of a sudden you look up and the Quakers are within 2. They took that time out when they were down 5. Abby Barlow with some evasive action to get out of the way of the long serve. That was fun. Barlow had to call, knew the serve was going to be long, so she had to just stop, drop, and roll was the move there from Abby Barlow.
We're seeing some laughs on the court from everybody. Morgan Clark, Kaylee Keough, Ava Meinhardt, and that's just what you really want to see. All this morale is so up right now, and it's little things like that that can just boost a team into a victory.
Yeah, sometimes the pressure cuts some of that out. The tension is too much to laugh, but I think you're right. You see those successful teams, the ones that can still have a laugh and a chuckle when something like that happens. Now, it's easier when you're the team that's up, right?
Absolutely, no, 100%. But like I said, small things like that can help you get momentum to get back into the game.
This is Madison Bozarth, sophomore libero, wearing the black jersey, serving. This is going to end up being an ace. Barlow and Morgan Clark gave good chase into the first row, but couldn't get there on the rebound. Bozarth is second in the conference in aces per set, 0.53. She came in with 42 total, so she's at least got 43 on the campaign now for the sophomore from Greensboro. Decided to just kind of teardrop that one over. Speaking of teardrops, Kaylee Keough with the tip. Little battle at the net, and Lynchburg will get the best of, and the Hornets go up 3 again.
I loved what you said earlier about the scrappy plays that we've had. A lot of these rallies have been scrappy. It's stuff that's really unnatural when you're doing a rally, and that's where both these teams have to play too.
And that kind of speaks to the nature of our game in general, but also the nature of playoff volleyball too. You just don't know what's going to happen. Expect the unexpected and be ready for those weird plays, those rallies that never seem to end. You got to find a way to win them. Got some great action right here. First set has been competitive. Lynchburg does lead by 3. We've had, I think, 2 lead changes. Live stats are acting a little wonky on the lynchburgsports.com website right now, but we'll get it all cleared up for you. The score on your screen is accurate. Lynchburg 19, Guilford 16. I'm Kyle. He is Ethan. The winner of this game will play Thursday. Washington and Lee is the number 1 seed hosting Avert tonight. There go the live stats, just as I say that. Sometimes you got to refresh the browser, right?
Yeah,
Ethan, that's what they tell you to do. You call the helpline, refresh your browser, or turn it off and turn it back on again.
Or give it to somebody younger.
Wait a minute. Are you calling me old?
No, absolutely not.
I know. We're having fun. But back to the ODAC tournament. The rest of the bracket looks like this. Washington and Lee, the 1 seed, hosting Avert tonight in Lexington. Virginia Wesleyan is the 2. They're playing host to Roanoke, the 7 seed. And then the 3-6 game is Bridgewater hosting Randolph-Macon. So the winner of this contest will take on the winner of Washington and Lee and Avert. Generals would be considered a heavy favorite in that one. They've only dropped 1 conference set all year. So the winner of this one likely going to Lexington on Thursday. But we'll discuss that more when we get to the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th set. Here's Natalie Moore, a screamer off the right hand. Man, she is talented. Number 22, Natalie Moore. You can tell what just an elite mover she is. What an athlete.
Yeah, absolutely perfect volley there. Not keeping her on her back foot, keeping her close to the net, giving her all of the power. And sometimes that setter, it's all about the support that you get that helps get that point.
Here is the setter, Maddie Page, serving for Guilford. Page has put together quite a career, and speaking of a ripper, that was Tori Williamson with a shot that was undefendable there on the Guilford side. Back to the setter for Guilford real quick. Senior Maddie Page, this is career match number 91. She's got 2,600 kills, over that now. It's an incredible number. Jana Leaks got over 1,000 for Lynchburg. We were wowed by that. Maddie Page she's closer to 3,000 than she is 2,000. Here's a good rally. Both teams diving around, getting after it. Bozarth, self-defense, but got it high enough for a set. Natalie Moore stuffed, got her own cover. Quakers will rebuild. Here comes the shot from Casey Johnson, long, and Lynchburg will win a hard-fought point right there.
Yeah, those long rallies, it's really tough to keep your focus towards the end of it or even towards the middle, depending on how long it is. So it's really key that you lock it. It's such an easy term to say than do it, but you really got to lock in and show and give it to your best players.
Yeah, you almost have to have more focus as the rally goes on, if that's possible. Bree Spainhour tried the hammer. That was guarded well. Natalie Moore will return the favor, and there's another stuff. Lakeside Drive Roofing Company putting the hard hats on. Another one. Good block there from Lynchburg. They are blocking well. 3 total blocks now. No, make that 4 total blocks for Lynchburg in this first set. They lead 22-17. Finish line in sight. There's a great serve from Tori Williamson. An ace off the top of the deck. Now Lynchburg's 2 away.
2 really nice points there from the Hornets. Point prior to that, a really nice stuff. It looked like 4 Quakers were around that, but just a little miscommunication, and then a really nice ace there from Tori.
Yeah, when you get to multiple people around it, that's called the campfire ball. And it drops into the embers there. Page, overpass, and Ava Meinhardt says, thank you very much. I'll get point number 24. Lynchburg really does have the finish line in sight now. Let's see if maybe Tori Williamson can finish off set 1 in style, perhaps with an ace.
Really good recognition from Meinhardt to notice that she's got wide open area there.
Picked out more on the service line. Morgan Clark, there's an overdig. She got the second one, contact in the net. Lynchburg's going to win set number 1, 25-17. A solid set for Lynchburg. Quakers will have to respond. We'll have first set numbers, second set action coming your way next on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Look what you're missing.
diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's gonna become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
Set one goes to the Lynchburg Hornets. It's Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinal action here inside Turner Gymnasium. I am Kyle Haney, my broadcast colleague, the national champion, Ethan Morotsky. Ski, I'll run down some official numbers in the first set there, but very competitive, maybe even more competitive than the score line would indicate.
Oh, absolutely. We talk about how much is going on during the game, but in between commercials, we talk about the game probably just as much, and we were talking about how that set went by very, very quickly. With the scoreline, how close it was, obviously Lynchburg just taking off and soaring in the end after that second timeout called by Guilford. But it was a very, very competitive set, went back and forth. Just after Lynchburg got over that hump of 15 points, they really took over and just continued to just dominate.
Yeah, Quakers were down 5, took the first time out of the game. They got it within 2, but then Lynchburg really did start to take over from that point forward after the Quakers made it close. Statistically, Lynchburg swinging it at 276. That's 11 terminations on 29 attacks, just 3 errors. You said if Lynchburg eliminated the errors, they would be in good shape. Well, that seems to be the case right now. 1 ace for the Hornets, 4 total blocks. For Guilford, they're led by Natalie Moore with 4 kills. Their hitting percentage much lower at 0.26. So again, sometimes the numbers lie, but when you just look at that hitting percentage, Lynchburg's is over 270, Guilford's is under 50. It's 0.26. 9 errors right now for the Guilford Quakers. So they are the ones that need to eliminate the errors, and they'll have a chance to win set 2. Hey, good stat here for Lynchburg. They are 17-2 this season when winning set 1. 17-2. And that conversion rate is probably pretty similar to most teams in volleyball, but it just speaks to the importance of the first set. How about Tori Williamson? Get up and just blister one down for the first point of frame number 2.
Yeah, we talk about how important the first set is, but even the first point is so important. It's getting back that momentum after you win the first set, or even if you lose the first set. Coming back, firing is so important.
Yeah, solid point by you. There's a pass that wasn't really on target. You see Guilford having a word about the communication after that one. Tough serving, and tough serving can be things like that right there. It's maybe just a ball that pass is not so good that nobody knows who's supposed to get it. Bozar fending that one. Moore came from the middle. And Lynchburg's ready to attack again. Tori Williamson one more time. Perfect placement. Cross court deep in the corner for Tori Williamson.
We saw in that first set, Guilford were doing a really good job finding that corner in the back line. Tori showing off how she can do the exact same thing.
3 kills in this one. She leads Lynchburg in terminations this year. Sophomore from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Let's see if they go to her again. Nope, it's Meinhardt in the middle. And that one caught some piece of the shoulder or head of the Guilford defender. Once again, Ava Meinhardt can be so dangerous as a blocker, as an attacker. And you combine her with Leah DiNardo, those 2 middles for Lynchburg, really a formidable combination. Guilford yet to score. They need something. Not going to happen here. That one was long from Casey Johnson. I think we might see a Quaker timeout soon. Not now. It looked like it was coming there as Coach Goodman was on her feet marching around, but just a word of instruction to the pupils. As Jana Leak still serving. What a run here to start set 2 for Jana Leak. A lot of this is because of her serving. Quakers managed to rescue that one nicely. Ooh, Morgan Clark gonna bump set Leak. 2 hands to the corner, it's down. Jana Leak has scored. Everything going Lynchburg's way right now. Jana Leak, the setter, took touches 1 and 3. Usually your setter wants the second touch. Didn't matter for Lynchburg.
Any way you can find a point, really a perfect start here for Lynchburg, and just the complete opposite for Guilford.
Yeah, Quakers need something. Stingy block up front. Natalie Moore is going to try to go over. Got sent back again. She'll swing it on 2. Leak Back set. Brees Spainauer tried to go high off the hands. Maybe a miss hit. Oh, there was a touch. There was a touch. That's a Lynchburg point. Brees Spainauer did catch a fingernail or something there as that ball went over the top of the block.
That's something that with LHSN, it'd be really, really nice if we could get a replay. Obviously, Division III, it's tough to get anything like that with challenges and everything, but we can show you the replay, but referees, he's right there. He seems to know what he saw.
Jana Leak with a little floater. Dewdrop in serve that hits the floor. What a run right here for Lynchburg to start set 2. You got to win 3 sets to get a victory, but this feels like a potential backbreaker for Guilford. Brees Spainauer will hand pass one over. There's another great block from Lynchburg. Play on, solid rally here. Natalie Moore sent back. Nothing can go wrong right now for Lynchburg as they have the security system up above the net there to deny access to Natalie Moore.
Everything going the right way for Lynchburg, and you look on the court after this replay is done and we see all smiles on the bench on the court, and that obviously is due to being up 8-1, but that is such a momentum booster and helps you get even more points.
Lynchburg must have been in the net right there, Ethan, because as we were talking, they changed it over to a Quaker point. Now Guilford's actually scored back-to-back points. So Quakers with a little response here. I think everything you said was valid. The momentum is still all with the Lynchburg Hornets. This serve floats long from Natalie Moore. So if you needed any more indication that Lynchburg does have the momentum and the traction, there you go. They now lead by 7 again. Big swing there, out call from Jana Leak, and she was right. That one missed the floor from Casey Johnson. Quakers just cannot find it right now. I think Coach Goodman thought about the timeout early. Now she's just letting it ride. Maybe seeing if her team can self-organize, turn this around on their own. Good serve received there. Another tough block up front, but Lynchburg couldn't get the loose ball as it came down right beside the duo of blockers. Back within at 7 are the Guilford Quakers as they send in reinforcements. Amber Chiarolenzio will come in, a junior from Deep Gap, North Carolina. It's a North Carolina heavy roster for Guilford. And we know Lynchburg's got a very Virginia-centric roster, but they've got some folks from various places too that we will run down. This one in the rafters, Tori Williamson thought she could get a glove on it in foul territory. Baseball reference, but couldn't come down with it, and it's a point for the Quakers.
I love the baseball reference there, Kyle. Obviously, big fan of this sport.
No, I know. It's right around the corner, even though the big leagues just ended, so it doesn't feel like that.
Well, they got to have some rest. 162 games. Very grueling on the body.
Yeah, and then some postseason games and some spring training games. It sure is. Quakers are within 5 after an illegal touch by the Lynchburg Hornets. This Lynchburg roster, as I said, a bunch from Virginia as that serve goes into the net from Chiarolenzio. A bunch from the Commonwealth for Lynchburg, and then you go a little bit wider out with Kaylee Keough, Charlotte, North Carolina, Tori Williamson, Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Ashlyn Davis is from Hillsboro, North Carolina. And then you can go all the way out to Jefferson City, Missouri for Ava Meinhardt. Jamie Smith, the first year from Forest Grove, Oregon. Lynchburg going to the West Coast, which is impressive.
Yeah, Oregon, that has to be a flight. There's no way anybody could drive that far.
Somebody would try to find a way to do it. There's a timeout on the court as you get another look at the ace from Emma Cash, local product from just down the street in Madison Heights. We'll step aside for a quick breather. Lynchburg leading 1-0, and they're on top in set 2, 12-5 on LHSN. Feels like it's all Lynchburg at the moment. Home team Hornets lead 12-5 in set 2 action. Lynchburg took set 1, 25-17. Kyle and Ethan back with you. Our LHSN crew is outstanding. We'll try to run down some or all of them as our night goes on. It's Emma Cash, first year serving for Lynchburg. Lynchburg has served it well. That one was long. Natalie Moore sighted it, made the call, and got the hands out of the way. So serving error there for Lynchburg. Hornets have 4 aces as a team, Ski, and now looks like 3 service errors, but it's a positive ratio in the serving department right now for Lynchburg. Just another thing they are doing well. Quakers took the timeout. Let's see if Guilford has a response and they can build up what would be a pretty robust comeback. Speaking of robust, Leah DiNardo with everything you want from a middle there. High velocity on the attack.
Well, it's almost like she wants the ball. She wants the setters to bring it to her. She's been so hot lately on the court, and that's exactly why she's got so much power right there in the middle.
And hitting it over 300% as Abby Barlow will trickle that one over the net and file that one in the everything's going Lynchburg's way category. Make no mistake, Lynchburg's gotten a few breaks in this one, Ethan, but you tend to get the breaks when you're playing well, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, and one of the reasons why they're doing so well is they're coming out hot out of timeouts. Guilford called every single timeout. No timeouts called for Lynchburg so far in this one, and yeah, Guilford comes out, they get 1 or 2 points right out of it, but Lynchburg keeping that momentum and riding it even after timeouts, and that's what's so big for this Lynchburg Hornets squad so far.
In middle for Guilford, Vanessa Johnson, 5th year with a nice kill there. That will be match number 100 played for Vanessa Johnson. There's Kaylee Keogh again, flight 17 cleared for takeoff and pounds one through the block. Now Kaylee Keogh will go serve. 15-7. Lynchburg on top by a comfortable margin. That one hit the tape for Keogh, then fell into the twine for another service error. Changes for Guilford as they go to the bench again. Crispell Alcantara, the sophomore, in. She's got the team best hitting percentage at .249. Had a great game against Lynchburg in this gym last year. Abby Barlow had to free ball one over. Degree of difficulty was high. Nice touch there by Maddie Page on the setter dump. And now Guilford just starting to get a little bit of traction here, Ethan. It's probably not anything worrisome to Lynchburg yet, but the Quakers have played better the last 4, 5, 6 points.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a really nice hustle play there from Abby Barlow, trying to cover where Kaylee Keogh was on the ground. Just beautiful placement from the Quakers there to get a free point.
Morgan Clark was right place, right time on a Natalie Moore stinger. Take 2 for Moore, and that one's down. Yeah, Natalie Moore, again, she moves so well. She's actually got several records on the Guilford track and field team, so it makes sense that you would be blown away by her athleticism. And she's one of those players that never really comes off the court. She can block, she can dig. We know she can attack and serve. Just a complete player and just a junior. There's complete power from Tori Williamson, another Lynchburg point to restore some order to set 2. Hornets on top by 6. Remember, they won first set action 25-17.
Yeah, we talk about players not coming off the court. That has to be super tough. I mean, obviously it's tiring, but to be able to keep a mental focus for 3, 4, or even 5 sets is just incredible.
No doubt about it. And you're late in the year as well. Meinhardt with another solo block, but play on. That one wrist away and wide out for a Lynchburg point. Morgan Clark will serve. 5'4" junior from Virginia Beach. Pretty good server in her career, Morgan Clark. 75 aces in the 3-year career coming into tonight. Moore from the middle. Kaylee Keogh got a ball that was slowed down by the block. Meinhardt well placed, net joust, play on. Good rally here. Free ball over. Did that catch a piece of the line? It did not. Early call by the line judge. Flag went up. Ball is out. Lynchburg leads by 8.
Well, Morgan Clark, one of the many liberos on this team, and it's so interesting with the idea that Coach Cardoza has of putting Morgan Clark and Abby Barlow on the court at the same time. Obviously, Abby Barlow, another one of those liberos, but she's not wearing the red shirt. So just another one of Coach Cardozo's coaching strategies that's been working out lately.
Yeah, when Jana Leak is in the front row as the setter, you maybe want a little bit more defense passing in the back row, so you get a really solid trio back there. And how about solid Ava Meinhardt again with an absolute missile that caromed off the hands and into the second row. I think our sports information director, Eli, had to duck as that one came whizzing by his head. Still all Lynchburg at the moment, 19-10 over Guilford. We're back in less than 60 seconds on LHSN.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
Lynchburg's got 20 terminations as a team. They are hitting over 300 right now. 319 in set 1 and 2 combined. Hornets on top by 9 at the moment in set 2 action. And Lynchburg's really been equitable with the offensive attack, Ethan. Ava Meinhardt, 5. Kaylee Keogh, 5. Tori Williamson's got 4 kills. Bree Spainhour's got 3. Much needed there for the Guilford Quakers. They are led by Natalie Moore with 6 terminations. That wasn't Natalie Moore, but things will need to get better for Guilford in the attack category and really all across the court.
100%. Lynchburg really been dominating this entire set. Came out to an 8-0 start. Now they're at a 19-11 lead. Quakers showing some life. They're going to need to show a lot more than that if they're going to want to come back in this one.
Long off the hand of Casey Johnson. Junior was trying for the deep corner and missed. Lynchburg by 9 with Jana Leak serving. Leak was on the service line when this set started with that 8-0 run. And there were some breaks in there for Lynchburg, but there was some great volleyball as well. Leak bumps it behind her head, then Tori Williamson does the same with the platform. They'll go to Natalie Moore again. That went through the block, and then the back row defender as well. Natalie Moore is that good. Top shelf stuff there. That'll be termination number 7 for Natalie Moore. And she'll serve to try to get Guilford closer. Quakers are down 20-12 at the moment. Score is 20-12. Bree Spainhour came flying in with a tip. Casey Johnson, mishit into the net. Another Lynchburg point. Hornets on top now, 21-12.
Well, really the main difference maker that's going to become something the Quakers are going to have to overcome is getting on a run. It's 21-12. You can get a couple points, but while you're focusing on going on that run, it's really important that you're focusing on the point at hand. Obviously, you want to go on an 8-0 run like Lynchburg did, but you can't go on an 8-0 run unless you get that 1-0 run, then a 2-0 run. I really learned that from my brother when he was at Randolph-Macon. Coach Hedrick, it was all about getting that one win, the win that you can control. You can't control a point that hasn't even happened yet or isn't even going to happen even right here. It's all about the point and what you can control right now at this moment.
Got to take it one play at a time. And certainly Guilford would be well served to do that. Bree Spainhour had to free ball one over. Now it's Alcantara that got sent back. That ball just dangled at the top of the string for a bit. Battle there that Guilford will win above the tape. Quakers are within 9 again. It's a 22-13 score line at the moment. And there's reason to think Guilford could get hot, Ethan, in their last ODAC win, which came on Friday, November the 6th. They beat Ferrum in 5 and they lost the 2 first sets, so it was a reverse sweep. Guilford came back to win sets 3, 4, and 5 there. So you know this Quaker team is dangerous and they're not going to give up. And that might be mentioned by Coach Kevin Cardozo from Lynchburg. Hey, they're down, but they're not out. Let's make sure we do our part to finish them off.
Absolutely. It's all about stepping on that gas pedal and not letting a team back in the game. Obviously, playoffs now coming, but really any sport, anything can happen.
Bree Spainhour got into the net right there. Coach Kevin Cardozo with a short conversation with the official. Not sure it was about that. I think it was actually about a previous play or something that happened. So play on. Amber Chiarolenzio serving for Guilford. There's Ava Meinhardt. Once again, just power right through the block for a Lynchburg point. Hornets are within 2. Here come the subs again. Emma Cash to serve. Leah DiNardo up front as the middle.
You know, we're talking about Coach Cardoza, and I know you could definitely talk about him all day. He's a great guy, and I always see you talking with him pregame and postgame. But one of my favorite things about Coach Cardoza has nothing to do with the volleyball. It's his socks. You ever notice he's always got weird socks or cool socks on?
Yep. I think it's SpongeBob were the socks of choice today. Good rally here for Guilford as they stayed alive and then got a point. Alcantara with one that banged off the scoreboard. That's a little feather in the cap for her, the sophomore from San Juan, keeping her team alive a bit longer. And now on the service line, Vivian Cavatiaio, first year from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. She'll jump into one, send it to Morgan Clark. Pass was tight to the net, but Jana Leak made it work for Kaylee Keogh. Bozarth has that. Now it's Alcantara again. Yeah, back-to-back points for her. And the sophomore from San Juan might be heating up a little bit. I think if you're Guilford, go to the hot hand right now. Don't worry about becoming too predictable. Just feed whoever's getting it done at the moment, and that appears to be Crisbel Alcantara. Serve goes long, and now Lynchburg's within 1 again. Lynchburg, 8 ODAC victories in the regular season, and they were all sweeps. They went on the road to sweep Guilford a week and a half ago, November 1st. Abby Barlow, junior from nearby Bonita, Virginia, going to try to finish it off here for Lynchburg. They'll have to wait. Alcantara will get another shot. Tori Williamson's there. Leak to the middle for DiNardo. Got sent back, but Barlow picks that up. Now it's an overpass that nearly touched the court, but ends up being a Guilford point.
Yeah, really dangerous decision there to let that one go. Ultimately pays off for them. They're going to need to get something going here if they want to come back in set 2.
Zoe Wisnant to serve. She'll need to stay there a while. Guilford's down 24-17. Tip from DiNardo. Quakers got it over. DiNardo, take 2, and that's down off the back wall for a set 2 victory. The first year, Leah DiNardo coming alive at the end. Lynchburg leading 2 sets to none. They'll try to go for an Old Dominion Athletic Conference tournament sweep. You'll see set 3 when we come back on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step. but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
We return inside Turner Gymnasium. It's Wayne Prophet Court inside Turner Gymnasium, playing host to Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinal action. Lynchburg, the 4 seed, 18-11, 8-4 in conference, looking pretty good. Up 2-0 here against the Guilford Quakers, who come in as the 5 seed, 13-12 on the year for Kelsey Goodman's squad in her first season on campus with the Quakers. Hello again, volleyball fans. I'm Kyle Haney, Ethan Morotsky flying high right beside me, and Ski, 2 really good first sets for Lynchburg. You know, you can sugarcoat it a little bit, but again, it's going pretty much to script for the Hornets in this one.
Well, absolutely. Starting off strong, winning the first 2 sets, and they didn't just win it, they kind of really dominated both of them. First set was a lot more competitive than that last one, but when we're looking at the second set, they went up 8. It was complete pandemonium for the first 10 points of the match for both squads. But they went up 8, and they never really looked back. It was all over at that point. They knew they're staying true to themselves, and they know that they know how to play, and they're really doing a great job here in this one.
We'll see how much fight the Quakers have. Great start there for Guilford. Crispell Alcantara, sophomore, putting together really a fantastic night. Let me run down some numbers from the second set and in general, but before that, let me tell you that Alcantara, that is termination number 5 for her. Reese Spainhour goes to the libero Bozar. It's kind of wild play. Some friendly fire over there on the Guilford side. That got their defense out of sorts, and Lynchburg took advantage. Right now, the Hornets are hitting at .270. The hitting percentage actually went up slightly in set 2. Lynchburg has 5 aces. 4 of them were in the second set victory. On the other side, for Guilford, their attack percentage still under 100. It did go up slightly in set 2. They're at .074 right now. Tori Williamson on the run with one hand. Then Morgan Clark gets involved. Now it's Ava Meinhardt with the bump set over. That ball is wide left and a Lynchburg point. Yes, still too many errors for Guilford. That was the story of set 1 for the Quakers, and really that continued in set 2. Again, along with everything going right for Lynchburg, let's also point out they've got 4 blocks as well, and that's just points on the blocks, Ethan. There's been some other really stingy and rough blocks up front for Lynchburg that have slowed balls down, made Guilford have to rebuild. Really, it's been an outstanding night so far for Lynchburg.
Well, forcing a team to have a hard reset in the middle of a point really puts pressure on them, and that's what Lynchburg's been doing so well right now during points, and even when points aren't going on, it's having them, forcing them to restart.
Good crowd in the gym here tonight. All the players on the team and the coaches and everybody was working the social media. They said, get out to Turner, pack Turner for this one. And Kevin Cardoza said, hey, you got home court advantage. Let's use it. Let's get a good crowd in here. Let's have some fun on a Tuesday. Wow, speaking of having fun, Bree Spainhour with a ball that got redirected nearly in our direction. I mean, it was 10 rows up in the stands here, Ethan. She is hitting it with that kind of force.
Well, I talk about it every single volleyball game, and usually it's from Kaylee Keough knocking one down. But that's a lot of velocity, and I've been hit by a lot of baseballs in my time, but I would never want to be hit by Kaylee Keough, Leah DiNardo, Ava Meinhardt, all of them, the whole front line. I would not want to be hit by one of those spikes.
There's that tough Lynchburg block up front, but it's spilled out of play. Should be a point for Natalie Moore. Natalie Moore continuing to pave the way for Guilford. So impressive, the junior from Talbot, Tennessee, Natalie Moore. There's a lot of other young talent here for Guilford as well. Our sophomore player to watch, Crispell Alcantara. There's reasons to be hopeful for the Quakers in the future. They are losing some good ones, though. Maddie Page is a senior. She's got 90 matches played in her career. Vanessa Johnson's that 5th year who's playing in her 100th match tonight. Congratulations there. So the Quakers will have to retool and rebuild a bit, but it's a good Guilford squad. And of course, we know for Lynchburg, 2 seniors, they're going to get one of them back. Maya Green's going to take the medical red shirt and come back for a 5th year. There's a block up front. Quakers are finding things a bit easier here in set 3. That was Casey Johnson, the junior, with a big, heavy hand in that one.
We saw a little confusion between the referees. It looked like one of them was trying to say that it didn't hit the line, and one of them saying that it just nicked the line.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. They changed the point to a Lynchburg point, 6-3 now. Here we go. There's another look. Not a bad look up front there, or from the replay camera. As you said, sometimes you don't get the best angles without a camera down the line and those things, but it's actually a pretty good one there.
That's the beauty of having such a great broadcasting crew with LHSN.
This crew is phenomenal. We'll talk about them at the end of this point. Slide play. DiNardo got blocked, but that wouldn't stay in. Really good stuff there by Lynchburg to run the middle outside. Leah DiNardo. Our team tonight, Ricky, JP, John Faust, Christian. Micah was up here earlier. Where'd he go? He's around here somewhere. Okay.
He's still over there. He's doing replays.
Those replays are incredible. It is a solid Lynchburg Hornets squad. Of course, we operate under the direction of our fantastic athletic director, Mr. John Waters, and the entire Old Dominion Athletic Conference. I was talking about the ODAC on Saturday for the soccer. I mean, we're biased, but best conference in the nation, I think. And I mean that twofold. Competition-wise, of course, we see how many teams from the ODAC have success on the national stage, but then also just the way the conference is run and organized and marketed, and the things they do for the member schools, the things the member schools do for the conferences, or for the conference itself, Ethan. I think it's second to none. Again, I'll admit I'm biased, but I think the ODAC's the best.
No, you're 100% right, and it's another thing that I feel like a broken record. I say it every single broadcast. The ODAC is such a juggernaut in almost every single sport. And we really have the luxury of having a fantastic athletic director in John Waters. I heard you talking about him earlier. You know, when you look at last year on that national championship run, it's a certain amount of roster people you can have, so that leaves a bunch of players on your original regular season roster out, and we got the luxury of being able to fly all of the rest of the team out there. So our athletic director and everybody that works under him is absolutely fantastic.
Yep, and like all those great leaders, he'd give someone else the success too, or the credit for the success anyway. Kaylee Keough, she'll get a second swipe. Trying to go right down the net there. That was fended up by Bosart. Natalie Moore jumped well, but she got into the net doing that. That'll be a Lynchburg point. There's a look at some of the crowd having fun, yeah. Lynchburg men's volleyball team had their first scrimmage on Sunday. That'll be coming up in January, the first real action for the men's team. Of course, it is the fall-winter crossover season. We're in playoff action here with volleyball and field hockey and soccer, and then you got basketball starting up. Kaylee Keough, perfect placement down the line, and Lynchburg really is rolling. Timeout on the court right now for the Guilford Quakers. Let's just keep it here on this one. Hornets lead 2-0, and they're up 11-4 in set 3. The numbers still look mind-boggling. Lynchburg's attack percentage is going up in set 3. They have 7 terminations on 13 swings. No errors right now for Lynchburg. And that's back to Ski's keys there, Ethan. I mean, you said it. You said if Lynchburg can not completely eliminate the errors, but cut them down to a pretty small number, they would find success. Well, that's proving to be true right now in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. You're never going to minimize the errors. We see Joe Brennan there, complete mastermind behind all the, literally everything, and we know he has a blast on PA too.
Yes, he does, and he controls the musical selections down there, which are clearly pleasing him. I think they're pleasing most of the gym too. The music's always fun inside Turner. For Lynchburg, Kaylee Keough leads with 8 kills. Ava Meinhardt not far behind, 7. Bree Spainhour's got 5 terminations. Tori Williamson 4 to go along with an ace, so she's high in the point category. Tori Williamson 7 digs. Morgan Clark 11 digs. Kaylee Keough defense on display with 8 digs. Right now it is going exactly the way the gals from Lakeside Drive want it to. And Lynchburg looking like they're going to win their first Old Dominion Athletic Conference tournament game since 2017. It's their first time hosting since 2020. First time hosting in a full season, a non-COVID season that is, since 2016. So it's been a lot of historical footnotes in this year for Lynchburg. They want even more, though. They want the season to continue, and they would like a chance to possibly play spoiler to a Washington and Lee team that really looks like a juggernaut this year. But I think Lynchburg would like their chances trying to roll the dice against the Generals one more time. And of course that matchup would happen on Thursday if Lynchburg holds on, and of course if Washington and Lee defeats Avert tonight.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the players. Tiana Artest, she has the utmost confidence for her entire team. Even Abby Barlow, when I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and that was shortly after their matchup between Washington and Lee, they have all of the confidence in the world that they can beat every single team in this ODAC.
DiNardo will get another one. It was a ball that hit the blocker, then kind of hit the shoulder and the top of the head. Number 12, Crispell Alcantara, couldn't really find it after the redirect. Morgan Clark to serve for Lynchburg. It's really now or never time for Guilford. We know the Quakers can get hot. They had the reverse sweep against Ferrum a few days ago, Friday, November 6th, but you have to get busy now. Lynchburg doubling up Guilford right now, 12 to a half a dozen, which is just a fun way of saying 12 to 6. There's a well-placed shot by Alcantara. She continues to play well. That should be kill number 5 for Crispell Alcantara. Natalie Moore leading the Quakers with 9 terminations. She's got 1 ace as well. Natalie Moore does a bit of everything for Guilford. This will be the libero, number 3, Madison Bozarth, sophomore from Greensboro, to serve. So Bozarth's the sophomore, another young one for Guilford that'll be back. Here's a weird play into the body. Bozarth will have to send that one over herself. Blocked up front. Lynchburg will rebuild. Tori Williamson will get a swing, sent that into the net. Quakers are not just going quietly into that good night. Guilford within 4, and we could say in striking distance at the moment after back-to-back points.
Absolutely, we are seeing some fight from Guilford. They're going to need to get a little bit more going, play point after point, start to come back, maybe tie it up, flip a couple lead changes here, and do whatever they can to show some life here in this third set that they absolutely need.
Miscommunication there. Tori Williamson thought the set was going to Meinhardt, and it wasn't. And now Guilford's within 3. Bozarth still serving. She's great on that service line, second in the conference in aces per set. This one will go to Tori Williamson. She got roofed. Very nice up front. That was the setter, Maddie Page, in there, putting the wall up. Usually the setter isn't a big key part of the block for most teams, but not the case there with Maddie Page. She got up for a little return to sender.
Absolutely not easy to block anybody on this Lynchburg front line, but throwing your hands up and you never know what can happen here. And that's just all about players stepping up where they really, you don't really see them step up. Like you said, setter getting that block, it's just all of these players stepping up when they absolutely need to when it's crunch time.
And that's going to have to happen for Guilford in this one. They're down 3, but a little mini run to cut in to the Lynchburg advantage. Hornets will get in system. Tori Williamson will take a slash. Oh, nice job to rescue that one off the floor. Great dive. There's one from Bree Spainauer that's long for a Guilford point. Vivian Cavatiayo with the very nice excavation to pull that one up for Guilford. Quakers within 2. Kevin Cardoza, timeout coming for Lynchburg, maybe? Ethan, maybe not?
Yeah, I think maybe just a little mental reset for the Lynchburg Hornets. Getting one of their first timeouts in the game could be crucial for them.
Might have been 4 touches from Guilford, but play on. Good job by the Quakers to save it. That one will hit the back line. Perfect accuracy from Tori Williamson. On the line is in volleyball, and that's a point much needed for Lynchburg. Had the 6-point lead cut down to just 2. Tori Williamson restoring some order to set 3. Remember, Lynchburg does lead 2-0. Pretty convincing victories, although we thought the first set was a bit more back and forth than the score line revealed. There's one that got into the rafters, and Morgan Clark and Jana Leak couldn't get out of each other's way, and now Guilford's within 2 again. Love the fight from the Quakers, and it's what you expect in tournament time as well, but still nice to see from Guilford.
Absolutely, and like you said, it's what we expect, and especially with 2 teams that are good. They've shown that they have success in the regular season, especially with the first-year coaches on both sides. So it's really the confidence going into this matchup that both these teams have.
Lynchburg has 9 sweeps on the season. And worth repeating, all of their Old Dominion Athletic Conference victories were sweeps. All 8 wins for Lynchburg came in straight set 3-0 fashion. Lynchburg has been swept 4 times. And how about this? We are tied. This is our first tie since set 1 when it was 4-4. Since then, it's been basically all Lynchburg. So tip your cap to the Guilford Quakers as they continue to battle on, down 2 sets to none. Kaylee Keogh going to try to tip over the wall, does that, but it's pulled up. Natalie Moore, strong strike. Dig from Morgan Clark was absolutely perfect. Tori Williamson from the back row, flying in with the right hand.
Tori Williamson, she is all about business in this Hornet lineup, shutting down any sign of resiliency. As of right now, we've seen it all. 3rd set from the Quakers. Like you said, that was the first tie that we've had since the first set. So Tori Williamson doing a fantastic job there, trying to cut down momentum.
They'll go to Natalie Moore again. Contact in the net. That will be a Guilford point. We're tied again, 15-15. Meinhardt and Clark coming on for Lynchburg. The change for Guilford, Zoe Wisnak again. Correction, Amber Chiarolenzio is the server now, the junior from Deep Gap, North Carolina. Tough pass there. Lynchburg did well just to get it over. That one kind of slapped at. Kaylee Keogh will get a decent look, and she'll get a point out of it. Lynchburg back with the lead again, 16-15.
We saw a rough start with that volley with an attempted dig from Tori. Really nice job there from Lynchburg to keep their head up, know what play is going on, and come back and win that point.
We talked about those scramble plays a bit earlier. You got to win a bunch of those in a volleyball game. Maybe you have to win more in the playoffs just because it is ultra competitive. Well, great job by Morgan Clark to move swiftly to her right to get that. And there's a Lynchburg point. Some sizzle coming off of that one. 17-15, Hornets by 2.
Might be a little run that the Hornets are going to go on here. If they go on a run, it will likely end the 3rd set. That's definitely what they're going to be trying to do here.
Yeah, and end the match, too. Lynchburg looking for another ODAC sweep, a tournament sweep. They'll set DiNardo in the middle. She tried the soft serve and touched it again when it came right back to her. That's 4 contacts and a point for the Quakers. More subs coming in for Guilford. Casey Johnson out. You get a different blocker in the middle. Lynchburg on the back row has 4 in the serve receive. Williamson, Barlow, Clark, and Keogh. Pass was tight to the net. Leak made it work, and Leah DiNardo got sent back. My goodness, Maddie Page again, the setter. How do you do? One of the conference's all-time best at setting is finding out she's got some real talents as a blocker as well.
And I tell you what, that was a perfect set from Jana Leak on the Hornet side and an even better block.
Should be a 2nd block assist for Page. And in a great stat line, it's actually a block solo statistically for Page. She's got 9 digs as well to go along with 21 assists. Kaylee Keogh with a kill to get Lynchburg the lead back. It is back and forth volleyball for sure. And much more what we expected coming in for a tournament game. Leak's going to set Kaylee Keogh in the back row, And now Lynchburg will have to try again. This time DiNardo in the middle. How that was pulled up, we'll never know. Great defensive play. Going to her again. DiNardo, take 2, and it's a jackpot this time for Leah DiNardo.
I'll tell you what, they tried once, got a little block, feed her again, and she's not going to miss that a second time. We saw it in that 2nd set also, but give her more opportunities, and she's not going to fail you.
Yeah, just keep banging on it there if you're Leah DiNardo, and it worked well. She's got a live right arm. That one snuck over the net. Lynchburg in the middle kind of mistimed the jump a little bit, but Guilford will get a point out of it. It's Natalie Moore serving for the Quakers, who need a run, who just need to stay alive. Just win a set and see what happens. Tori Williamson, that had some sizzle. Bozarth got it back, overpass. DiNardo's there. What a rally right here. Bodies going everywhere, so is the volleyball. Leak, high ball bump set to Keogh, coming from the back. Natalie Moore, perfectly placed, handled. Here's the swing from the outside by Johnson. Hornets can run it down. Kaylee Keogh, what a play and what a rally. Where does this one end? stuffed up front with the block. Was Lynchburg in the net, though? Was Lynchburg in the net? Initial signal is Hornets point. And Kelsey Goodman is asking the question to the official. I think she's right to ask the question. That was a wild one and a wild finish, too. Watch it again here, Mr. Morotsky. Look at Kaylee Keough, long haul trucking. And here's the finish. Was the ball down when Lynchburg got into that net? I think in the estimation of the officials it was. Tori Williamson's actually getting looked over here by our athletic training staff. She did come down awkwardly at the end of that one.
Yeah, and if Tori Williamson can't get back into this game, it looks like she's walking around fine. As we see Tiana Artes getting her some water. It looks like she's walking around pretty well. But it is deep into the third set. You wonder what Coach Cardoza can draw up here with her in it, with her in the play or without her in the play. But we know she is monumental for this Hornet crew on the court.
Yeah, so impactful. The team leader in kills per set, team leader in total terminations as well. Tori Williamson, double-digit kills in 22 matches this season. And after all that, it actually looks like it's going to be a timeout, too, on top of it. So let's step aside and catch our breath and get ready for the finish of set 3. Lynchburg looking for the sweep here, and they lead in the third set 20-18 on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much, much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
It's an ODAC quarterfinal tourney time in Lynchburg here as the Lynchburg Hornets, the home team, in command, leading 2-0, but a fight in set 3. Guilford Quakers not going away just yet, Ethan.
Yeah, Hornets first to 20 in this third set. They've been first to 20 in the first 2, and like you said, ton of wins coming off of a first set victory for this Hornets team, ton of sweeps. So we're going to see if Lynchburg can recreate history. Not really history, but the game that they had a couple weeks ago against Guilford and sweep them here. It's going to be tough. We're going to see some resilience. We've seen it all third set from the Quakers. So these next 10 or so points are going to be the most important for both these teams in the entire season.
A big cheer, I think, as Tori Williamson's coming back out. Yeah, we were unsure how injured Tori Williamson was, but the teammates gave a roar of applause when Tori Williamson laced up the sneakers. She's actually still down on one knee, finishing the left shoe there. Lynchburg does lead by 2, 20-18. It'll be Morgan Clark to serve. There's the bench from Lynchburg. Vibes have been high all season long. Coach Kevin Cardoza says so many great personalities on this team. Just laugh all the time, hard-working bunch. They seem to get along. There's healthy competition in practice, but everybody seems to be pulling in the same direction as a serve from Morgan Clark goes long. Maybe it's now or never time again for the Guilford Quakers, who trail by 1, down 2-0. It's an Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinal matchup. Winner is more than likely on the road in Lexington against Washington and Lee. At last glance, the Generals were up 2-0 on the Cougars of Avert. There's an over dig that's dealt with, and now we're tied up again. 20 apiece here in set 3.
Perfect way to come out of an opponent's timeout is taking the first 2 points, tying up the third set here, trying to get something to change up momentum.
Numbers do look better in the third set for Guilford. Hitting percentage up, less errors, blocking better too. There's one that found a little seam right between 2 defenders. Quakers lead for the first time since early in the first set. Wow.
Well, those are the errors that we're talking about when it comes to Lynchburg. Obviously, you're going to have serving and killing errors, but it's the small mental mistakes that Lynchburg has to get better at going through this postseason.
Tori Williamson got it to Bozarth. It was up high, and nobody was in the zip code to lift that one off the hardwood. Tied up again, 21-21. Jana Leak to serve. Very dangerous on the service line. She's the team leader in aces. Came in with 48. Throws it up, swings on it. Left side attack. Wow, blistering right there. Vanessa Johnson with some sizzle, and I beg your pardon. I believe that was Crispell Alcantara again with the smoke.
We are seeing a ton of intensity on the court from both teams. We see Abby Barlow on that prior, and everybody on Guilford right now is getting so hype and so intense in this third set.
High ball bump set for Casey Johnson. Lynchburg will get a chance to attack. Meinhardt in the middle, hit off the block and then went out. Kevin Cardozo with some frustration right there. Even though Lynchburg got the point, he did not like something, I guess, with the blocking up front, perhaps. That's a replay of a previous point there. We're tied up 22-22. I guess any replay would be a previous point, wouldn't it, Ethan? I just meant a point from a while ago. There's a serve from Tori Williamson. The Lynchburg bench is into it. And there's another timeout from the Guilford Quakers with their season on the line. Probably a good call to take one here for Kelsey Goodman. We'll stay right here. You're watching Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinal action from inside Turner. I'm Kyle, he's Ethan, the LHSN crew, top tier as always, and we thank you so much for tuning in. If you're Guilford, you're down one, down but certainly not out. You have to win this set, obviously. Of course, first to three wins the match. Have to win this set to stay alive. Then you can start thinking about other things. But take it one bite at a time, Ethan. What do the Quakers need to do here in the next 4, 5, 6 points?
Well, I've said it all game. They need to focus on this next point that's coming up. But really, when it comes down to Lynchburg, is Guilford's going to need to keep them on their toes. We talk about those scrappy points that happen every once in a while and how important they are for every single set and match, but Guilford gonna have to keep Lynchburg in that area where they have a bigger chance at making those mental mistakes that they've made all season to help teams get back into it.
Natalie Moore leads the Quakers with 10 kills. Actually haven't seen her take a swing in a while. Wouldn't mind seeing Guilford get her the ball. Crispell Alcantara, some highlight reel stuff with 9 kills. On the Lynchburg side, Kaylee Keogh has 10 terminations. Ava Meinhardt and Leah DiNardo, the two middles, both with 8. So the middles combining for 16 kills for Lynchburg. Good serve there. Hornets are up 1. Free ball coming. Tori Williamson to Leak. Meinhardt in the middle again. Bozarth slides into that one. Picked it up nicely. Contact in the net from Guilford. An illegal touch, I think, was the call, actually. A ball was lifted. And now Lynchburg is within 1. 24-22. Tori Williamson to serve and possibly finish it off here for Lynchburg. Sophomore jumps into it. Moore has it. Page will set Alcantara again off the block and out nicely. Quakers stay alive, at least at the moment anyway. Guilford serve down by 1. Lynchburg just needing 1.
The second match point here, and it just you can feel the tension. It sounds like Turner Gymnasium is about to erupt.
It sure does. Crowd is loving it. Kaylee Keogh to try to end it. Not yet. Natalie Moore, strong swipe. That got a piece of Meinhardt's forearm there, but still went down to the deck. We're tied 24-24. We will need extra points here in set 3. You must win by 2. Lynchburg is pretty good in extra point scenarios this season. They actually haven't had one in a while. Watch out. Ava Meinhardt with an absolute slam dunk. She just got up the ladder and threw that straight down. Emma Cash will come on and serve and try to win it for Lynchburg. Watch it again. Perfect set from Leak and Meinhardt. My goodness, high altitude. The air is thinner up there. How does she breathe? Emma Cash on the line with Lynchburg up 1, needing 1, and we are tied again. Cash kind of short-armed that one. The Quakers at the moment see their season extended at least 2 more points.
We're seeing almost everybody on their feet here in Turner Gymnasium.
Yeah, fantastic look. Crowds into it. Need a shot of that Lynchburg bench if they win. See what their reaction looks like. Page gonna go to Moore. Makes sense. Blocked. Quakers try to get it over. They do. Let's see where Jane Elite goes. DiNardo got sent back. This ball's still alive. Moore pushes it up. Here's that scramble play. Natalie Moore took 1 and 3 and got her attempt blocked. Net joust. My goodness. Everything above the net in this rally. Morgan Clark swipes it over with 2 hands. Middle shot. Clark can't get that one down on 1 knee to try to lift it, but it's not there. And just like that, Guilford is now 1 point away. Lynchburg had consecutive match points, or 2 match points anyway. Now Guilford has their first. 26-25, Quakers on top. What a third set. That one's handled. Platform set. Boy, that was hit strongly from the back row, and the Quakers get set 3. Not done yet, and there will be no sweep inside Turner tonight. We are going to set 4. Guilford wins it, 27-25. Ethan and I are back in 90 seconds on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
A single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect, strengthen, and unite. But we face different challenges and have different opportunities. By acknowledging that others may struggle in ways we do not, we can celebrate our differences, embrace each other, and fortify the ties among us. A single thread can fray, yet when it's woven with another, a bond forms. A new strength created by the fabric of the whole. Let's embrace the fabric we make together, the diversity of our threads, to reach beyond ourselves and overcome the impossible. The true power of our game comes from unifying our individual backgrounds, connecting our unique stories, enabling us to be stronger, braver, greater. We can achieve so much more when we are all as one.
What a season. The confetti is going to fall.
Here she goes, and she's got it. How sweet is this, and how wonderful for the sport.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go into personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
The Guilford Quakers, with their season on the line, down 2-0, get a 27-25 set 3 victory to stay alive, and they had to stave off a couple Lynchburg match points Quakers did what we thought this whole game might be like, Ethan. That's make it a scramble, make it kind of wild, and show a lot of fortitude, a lot of fight there for Guilford. That's the kind of playoff volleyball we thought we would see.
Absolutely. We said that's what they needed to do if they wanted to win the last couple points in that third set, and that's exactly what they did. Kept Lynchburg on their toes, made Lynchburg make the mistakes instead of Guilford making the mistakes.
As you might expect, statistics were better in set 3 for Guilford. Numbers went down for Lynchburg in set 3. Lynchburg with their lowest hitting percentage of the first 3 sets at .185. Guilford saw their attack percentage bump up to .205. 15 kills on 44 swings for the Quakers. Serving it nicely as well. And blocking better up front for Guilford in that third set. And of course, Lynchburg had chances to win. I mean, Lynchburg had 2 set and match points of their own, as our line judge is going to ask the fans that were behind her to just give her that entire area to work with in case she needs to go back and see something down the line. And now the head referee on the chair, R1, is asking the guys, I think, to sit down, or at least be off the lighter color of the wood there. I think generally you can be on that darker strip that says Lynchburg around, but officials just want everybody to be safe and have room to play volleyball, and we will play on. It's set 4 here between Guilford and Lynchburg in an Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinal. Good rally to kick off set 4. Maddie Page will try and dump. Ava Meinhardt hit that twice, and Guilford will snatch the lead early. Lynchburg in 4 setters this year, Ethan, are 7-3, so they got 7 victories in 4 sets. Guilford has some 5-set wins, and most recently they came back from being 2 sets down against Ferrum on Friday. But a long way to go for that. We're still in set 4, and Lynchburg can close out a quarterfinal win here.
Well, the beauty of playoffs in any sport is that all regular season stats are kind of thrown out the window. You can rely on them, but ultimately it's anybody's ball game, no matter what set we're in, what inning, what half, or what quarter. Anything can happen.
Love that phrasing, love the effort there. Bozarth and Moore used the entire court and then some to try to track down a good Jana Leak serve. And Leak will deal off another one here with her squad up 2-1. Jana Leak has had an outstanding night as always, it seems like, for Lynchburg. She really makes this team go. 33 assists, 3 aces for the setter, Jana Leak. Bree Spainauer with the hammer off the block and down. We had not called Bree Spainauer's name much in the third set there, Ethan, so great to see Bree Spainauer insert herself back into the proceedings.
Yeah, like you said, didn't really call her name out too much, but in this 4th set, somebody's going to have to step up for this Lynchburg team now, as it's been all Lynchburg so far, so this is a really good start, coming back from losing a possibility of a sweep.
Point went for Lynchburg. Everybody on the Guilford side assumed there was a touch there. The speaking captain, Maddie Page, will go to the chair umpire and ask the question. Kelsey Goodman, the head coach, doing the same. Quakers visibly upset about that one. Jana Leak will continue to serve. But yeah, Bree Spainauer, just back to her for a bit. We know she has that takeover kind of ability. She did that in a 5th set upset win where Lynchburg beat Washington and Lee last season. And the Hornets would like to try to do that. Uh-oh, Kelsey Goodman is up again. And you can hear it from up here. Another call she did not agree with. The Lynchburg fans will get into it. You can issue cards in volleyball, Ethan, and I don't know that that's happened right here. I'm just informing. I think there has been a warning issued, is what it sounded like from our public address man, the aforementioned Joe Brennan.
I think that's smart to issue a warning there. You don't want to do anything too drastic that can get really everybody, not just the Guilford team, upset, but people around you in the NCAA or the ODAC.
I couldn't agree more, though. You know, it's a tournament game. It's got that kind of passion. It's got that kind of intensity. You're going to get some disagreement on some calls. That's natural. And then when you get into tournaments, I think it ramps up slightly. So I'm with you on the officiating. Let everybody have their piece there, as Kaylee Keough got too big a piece of that one and sent it long. But let everybody say what they thought they saw and then move on.
I think something you also have to take into account is that you're going into Turner Gymnasium where Hornets athletes all around and even non-athletes here, they travel well and they go to a ton of the games. So you have to know that you're going to get a lot of talk from the fans.
Sure, there's a distinct home court advantage, and it's noticeable right now inside Turner. Again, great fan support. We know we got a lot of folks tuned in. We appreciate that. Hopefully they're listening all around the world. Hopefully we got a lot of Quaker fans checked in. Guilford's back within one, by the way, while we had the little discussion there. Slide play for Meinhardt. Pulled up nicely. The Quakers are not going anywhere. That was a down-the-line ball that must have just missed. Very, very close. It's a Lynchburg point. Hornets now leading 6-2.
Yeah, going back to Bree Spainhour, it's somebody that it's one of just the many players on this team and coaching staff that we could just talk about all day long. And I think one thing that goes into how well she does for this team is that multi-sport athlete that she's got inside of her is the amount of athleticism that it takes to play sports like volleyball and basketball. And she has that in her arsenal when it comes to volleyball and basketball when it becomes basketball season for her.
Yeah, if you combine the two, she spent over 100 games in a Hornet uniform and might get closer to the 200 mark before her career is done. Good serve on the previous one to get Lynchburg their 7th point of the game. Battle right here. Spainhour dove for it. Now she's got to get out of the way. Keogh will strike it from off court. Quakers should get a chance to attack here. They do. Natalie Moore through the block, off the net, and down. Quakers back within 2. And we've been talking about Bree Spainhour a lot, so I'll note that she has 6 terminations in this one. Natalie Moore leading all scorers now with a dozen kills for Guilford. Quakers still down 2-1. If you force the 5th set, then some teams will say that the squad doing the reverse sweep, the squad that was down actually has the momentum, and that would make sense because if the Quakers force set 5, that would mean they've won the last 2 consecutive in a row.
Yeah, absolutely, and that pressure of a 5th set, knowing that it's not going to go 25, it goes to 15, and knowing that your season is now on the line if it were to go to a 5th set, I mean, that's something that you can't really compare anything to.
It really is a different kind of feeling in sports. Jana Leak. Spainhour off target. Boy, felt like Spainhour hit that one 4 times in the sequence. Play on, though. Oh, perfectly placed from Madison Bozarth. Guilford within 2 again. Again, you have to love the fight from the Guilford Quakers. Looked like they were just going to get on the bus, and they did not. They fought back in set 3 multiple times, and they're trying to fight back and equalize at 2 sets apiece.
Yeah, first 2 sets really deceiving from the Quakers. They look very, very on point in the last 2 sets so far.
It's hard to say that Lynchburg has taken their foot off the gas. It kind of gets back to one of your keys, giving you more credit again here. But Lynchburg just made a few too many mistakes in set 3, mistakes that they didn't really make in the first 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the Quakers flipped the script there and said, we know you're going to make the errors now. Now it's our time to strike.
Rare attacking error from Natalie Moore. She pounds that one into the mesh. Now Lynchburg back up a more comfortable 4 with Abby Barlow serving. Abby Barlow has wide left, tried to pick out the line there and missed. Lynchburg serving on the night. It's 8 aces, now 7 service errors. And again, I think that's a ratio that Coach Kevin Cardoza is more than comfortable with. He'll take a 1-to-1 ratio because he knows his team can serve really tough and they can serve some squads right out of the building. Speaking of serving, Natalie Moore with an ace, one that hit the net and went down. Natalie Moore's night continues to really be good. 2 aces now for her to go along with 12 kills, 14 points total. Tip from DiNardo, fended off, setter attack. Lynchburg's there. Abby Barlow in the nick of time. Let's see where Guilford goes this time. Middle shot taken away by the block. There's Bozarth tapping over on 2. Leap gonna set Kaylee Keogh. Natalie Moore got that, but they could not keep it alive. Outstanding sequence on both sides, and it ends with flight 17 cleared for takeoff one more time.
We saw some frustration in the middle of that play as it looked like maybe they had caught the net there, but eventually it doesn't matter. Kaylee Keough, you see her in the middle of that play waving everybody saying, hey, the ref hasn't blown the whistle. We got to fight for this point. Whether it was a right call or a wrong call, Kaylee Keough keeping everybody in line.
Play through the whistle. Kaylee Keough serving now with Lynchburg leading by 4. Keough's got 12 kills, an ace in her pocket as well. Looking over the defense, waiting for the whistle. She'll pick out Natalie Moore down on the right knee to hoist it up. They'll go near side, Alcantara. And Jana Leak, good effort to try to keep that one alive. Had to run around the referee's stand and actually got a hand on it. But the point goes to Guilford. Libero number 3, Madison Bozarth, is serving. Lynchburg in the back row, those 3 talented passers. Keough, Barlow, Morgan Clark. Up front is DiNardo, Williamson, and Leak. Tough ball for Leak to set. She got it over to Tori Williamson, and Tori got it down for the 13th point of set 4.
Beautiful placement there from Tori. We're seeing a really nice back and forth battle. Hornets are up 4, but you can't take away credit from the Quakers. They've fought just as hard this 4th set so far as they did in the 3rd set. It's been very back and forth.
Does Guilford have one last push? They might need more than one last push. Quakers might need multiple pushes. Another ace for Morgan Clark. Lynchburg serving it well. We got to get a look on the next ace at Lynchburg's bench because they've got a little choreographed celebration. That'll have to wait because there's a timeout on the court. Lynchburg leads 2-1, and they're on top in set 4, 14-9. Kyle and Ethan back in a flash on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
It's Kyle Haney and my co-pilot, the navigator, Ethan Morotsky, the national champion. A good set 4 here. Lynchburg leading at the moment 14-9. We said one more fight required from Guilford, and then I amended it and said maybe even more than one more fight because you're probably not just going to get them all in bunches against Lynchburg. So you got to dig in, really play hard, and really play sharp here if you're Guilford. Not much room for error down 2-1. We've seen the Quakers can play well with their back to the wall. An outstanding set 3 performance to get back in this. And an outstanding point out of the timeout. Guilford's been good in the after timeout situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Every single timeout, I want to say except one, they've gotten a point or 2 coming out of it, and that's exactly what you want. And if you're Lynchburg, you got to find a way where that you can nullify the effect of a timeout. Obviously, getting the ability to regroup as a team for Guilford is the most important part of it, but finding out, and that's where it comes into coaching too, because obviously there's home and away coaching, or there's both teams coaching, but coaching in the timeout is so critical in finding a way where you can make it so the timeout really doesn't change anything, where you keep your momentum going in this game.
That's exactly right. Those master coaches, they can find the message for that timeout, craft it perfectly. And you can't overload your team with information as well. But again, those great coaches, they find a way to do that. Setter attack right there. Point for the Quakers. Once again, solid stuff from Guilford. Still down 4, but showing the fight that we thought they would. It's an Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarter-final matchup, the 4-5 matchup. Lynchburg, the 4 seed, finished the year 8-4 in conference. Meinhardt went up high, couldn't get a touch, and that's another Quaker point.
See a little bit of the morale down on the court for Lynchburg, getting a little low there. They're going to need to find something that they can do to change it up and get something that not only can get them momentum, but get them back into the game. They're winning by 3 points, but you wouldn't really be able to tell.
Yeah, block there probably would have done it, but that one will go the way of the Quakers. Another one for Natalie Moore. The junior continues to impress. She only had 4 kills in the previous game against Lynchburg. She has been set more tonight, and she has delivered 13 terminations for Natalie Moore in this one here in the ODAC quarterfinal. Meinhardt thought she found a seam, but Bozarth got it up. More stuff. Did that hit the line? That ball is in. Yeah, block on the right side from Bree Spainhour to deny Natalie Moore. Like Natalie Moore took a look at it as it was coming back down, but maybe thought it was going to be an out ball or just couldn't react in time. Tori Williamson to serve for Lynchburg. She'll pick out Bozarth again. They'll set Natalie Moore again, hanging high, firing. Man, that hit Morgan Clark and then hit some fans in the 5th row. Hit everything but the lottery there that time for Natalie Moore.
Well, I think one thing that Lynchburg is going to need to get better at in this set, and something that they didn't really do too well in the last set either, is building off of momentum. You need a foundation in order to build a house, and you need to get that first point in order to get the second and third. And they're doing a good job getting that second and third point, but they're not building off of that.
Natalie Moore that time tools the block for another one. She's got 15 terminations now. 2 aces for Natalie Moore as well. She's a point scorer. She was 3rd in the conference in points last year, and she'll get a lot of them with kills and aces, and then pick up a few on the blocking side here or there as well. That time, Ava Meinhardt showing what she can do. Pound town again for Ava Meinhardt, who's putting together a fantastic performance with double-digit kills. Ava Meinhardt has 10 to go along with the stingy blocking up front. 2 block solos, 2 block assists for Ava Meinhardt. Emma Cash to serve with Lynchburg leading by 2. Alcantara hadn't been set in a while, didn't matter. She found the rhythm and found the floor. Guilford's within 1. This is back and forth. I mean, this, you have to say, Ethan, there is not much separation between the 2 teams right now. First and second set, well, that was all Lynchburg, and that's not because we're biased. That's objectively saying that was all Lynchburg. Objectively, that is. Now you have to objectively say this is back and forth volleyball here in sets 3 and 4.
Absolutely. This is as competitive as it gets in any sport, and here are the mental errors that we've been talking about for Lynchburg as they've been building in the last 2 sets. And this is what Guilford, this is what they want to see. They want to see the Hornets break down and give them momentum.
Tie ball game after a campfire ball. It was a good serve as well to really upset the passing and receiving. Bree Spainhour. That one's off the block and out for a Lynchburg point. That was needed. That was needed big time for Lynchburg. You're right about the body language, though. And Kevin Cardoza's on his feet, and I think some tactical things there, but maybe also something with the energy and the body language and the attitude. Abby Barlow serving with Lynchburg leading by 1.
It's almost like Coach Cardoza's telling them to keep up the energy, but he wants them to stay down to earth. If you're not down to earth, you're going to try and do too much, and that's kind of what we've seen a little bit from Ava Meinhardt. Is it's almost like she's trying to do too much.
Quakers did well to keep that one alive. Williamson from the back row also defended. Natalie Moore, that's got some sting. Williamson had it. Now it's Barlow over to Clark, and Lynchburg got it over. Good rally here, and that is a rally ender and a game-changing kind of swing from Vanessa Johnson. Tie ball game. 18 apiece. Vanessa Johnson, 5th year in the middle, playing in match number 100. 347 sets now for Vanessa Johnson. Sub coming in, Crisbel Alcantara, the sophomore from San Juan. Quakers, the chance to take the lead. Kaylee Keogh says, picking out the deep corner there. Oh no, they called it out. They called it out ball. Awfully close, awfully close. Guilford does lead if the call stands. The officials, I think, are going to talk it over. Maybe not. Kevin Cardoza, the head coach for Lynchburg's, talking it over with the R2. Yeah, it's Quaker lead. That was a miss from Kaylee Keogh. A game of inches, much like a lot of other sports. Kaylee Keogh's going to try again. Softer touch this time. Alcantara, Morgan Clark, over dig, play on, though. Lynchburg survives it. Keogh, one more time. Flight number 17. Missed the runway on the last one, not that time. Wide open space for Kaylee Keogh to tie it up.
Well, I tell you what, that point tying it up, that's maybe exactly what this Lynchburg team needs, as the entire arena just was on their feet after that point.
Yeah, well fought point there. You're right. That might be the one that gets Lynchburg some momentum back. 19 all. And another great rally. I mean, this is fantastic stuff. Williamson blocked. Lynchburg nearly got there, and then the shrapnel actually hit Williamson again. Guilford leading by 1 again. 2019. Man, what a set. What a set.
Just back and forth, super competitive. Both teams giving it their all. This is exactly what you want to see in the first round. I mean, this is the first round of the playoffs, and we're having a game just as good as this.
Touch up top. Somebody got into the net for Guilford. A little net joust there that Lynchburg will get the benefit of. Tie ball game again, 2020. And we get those crazy pinball redirects and players on the floor. You almost don't need a broadcaster for those. And it's almost impossible to call when the action is manic and crazy like that. Composed dig from Morgan Clark. Leak had to go a long way to set Tori Williamson. Bozarth has that one. Maddie Page has to do some long running to get to the set. Oh, and that one will hit the rafters and go down for a Guilford point. This is everything you want from a playoff volleyball match. We are in set 4. Lynchburg leads 2-1. We're finding out that Guilford plays best with their season on the line, Ethan.
Back against the wall, that's when they're on their prime. Saying is, game's on the line, they're on their prime, and Quakers are showing some resilience here. They don't want to go home, they don't want their season to end.
Jana Leak to serve in a tie ball game, 21-21. Natalie Moore's in the back row. They still might set her. Nope, they go to Alcantara instead, and that's a point. The sophomore from San Juan continues to impress for the Quakers, and the visitors lead by 1. It is a battle. Can't say that enough. Tough serve, goes through the rafters. Lynchburg can find it and play it, but Tori Williamson with a miss hit. Guilford's up 2 and within 2. Here's the timeout from Lynchburg. First one the Hornets have taken all night. They trail by 2, but lead 2-1. You're watching Old Dominion Athletic Conference quarterfinal volleyball on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Look what you're missing.
It really don't matter to me. I'm just happy to be here. I might go crazy.
It was smooth sailing in the first 2 sets for the Lynchburg Hornets. They thought they were going to get another conference sweep. All the regular season ODAC wins for Lynchburg were straight set sweeps. Not tonight, though. The Quakers staved off elimination a couple times. Hornets had 2 match points in set 3. Guilford goes on to win that one 27-25. And now Lynchburg is down 2, and Guilford is within 2 in the set 4 pandemonium frame right here. And if we get to a set 5, it's anybody's guess. Hello, Lakeside Drive Roofing Company putting the hard hats on and putting the top on Natalie Moore. Lynchburg now within 1 after a stingy double block on the near right side.
Beautiful way coming out of the timeout. We've said it all night. Guilford's done a great job, but Lynchburg taking their first timeout. That's a really great job.
Going to go to Natalie Moore again. Went over the block that time. Tori Williamson tracked it down. Keogh hanging, firing. It's going to be Natalie Moore again for Guilford. Why not? She's been the hot hand, her and Alcantara. Spainhour will tip. Leak hoisting up. Keogh, roll shot into the corner, and it's in, and we are tied. 23-23.
That is all precision from Kaylee Keogh. We said it in the first set, and now we're saying it in the fourth set. She has so much power in that shot, but she's not afraid to deal some precision damage there.
Perfect placement to tie the ball game. We've loved the fight from Guilford, loving it right now from Lynchburg. What a response after the timeout. Bree Spainhour take a screamer. Quakers, can they keep it alive? They cannot. That one went straight down on the Quakers side of the net. Lynchburg is within one, 24-23. Timeout on the court. We have got to stay here. Listen to this crowd.
I got goosebumps, Kyle. It's so loud in here that we have to talk loud, and we know that can be a struggle, but it's absolute pandemonium in here in Turner Gymnasium on Wayne Prophet Court. It's a fantastic fourth set. I mean, this is exactly what you ask for if you're not just a volleyball fan, but a sports fan. This is as competitive as it gets.
You don't even have to know that much about volleyball to feel how competitive it is, to feel that tension, to feel that energy, the emotion. You get people dancing to the music, vibing out. There is a good crowd in here. Guilford fans have traveled well. The Quakers call a timeout with their season on the line again. We saw this in set 3. Guilford managed to stay alive and win set 3, 27-25. They'll have to force extra points again if they want to force the decisive 5th set. Lynchburg does lead 2-1. Hornets are looking for their first tournament win since 2017. Lynchburg hosted a tournament game in 2020. They did not win that game. Crowd is on their feet now.
I tell you what, this is the most important point coming out of a timeout, not just for the season and not just for this match, but like you said, for the last 6 years.
Tori Williamson to serve. Pretty good one. Got it in the conflict zone. Quakers will attack, though. Natalie Moore hanging. It's Williamson again. Leak going to set Bree Spainhour, and she will end it. Bree Spainhour with a bomb from the right side to take care of business for Lynchburg. Hornets get their first tournament win since 2017, and they move on to an Old Dominion Athletic Conference semifinal. Lynchburg wins set 4, 25-23. It was a thriller. The Quakers will see their season end at 13-13. Tip your cap to the Guilford Quakers, though. They started a bit slow in sets 1 and 2. They were game ready and dangerous in sets 3 and 4. Lynchburg had to work very hard to earn this 4-set victory tonight, Ethan.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it was all Lynchburg in the first 2 sets, and even at the beginning of the 3rd set, Guilford has to be proud of what they did tonight. They showed a ton of resilience after losing the first 2 sets by large margins, coming back, winning the 3rd set, making a really competitive 4th set, go to the last timeout, the last point, the last spike. A really, really great job for this Lynchburg Hornets volleyball team.
Celebrating with the crowd here. We mentioned the fans showed up and showed out. They were behind the squad. Lynchburg brought a lot of energy of their own. Let's run down a few stats for you here. We don't want to keep you all night. Let's also report the action elsewhere in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference tournament. Looks like Washington and Lee did hold on for a sweep victory. So Lynchburg will be heading to Lexington Thursday. That is a juggernaut of a Generals volleyball team. They have only lost 1 set in ODAC play this season. Washington and Lee swept Lynchburg a couple weeks ago in Lexington, but I know the Hornets will relish the chance to try again against the conference's best, and they'll take a shot at upsetting the #1 seed Thursday.
Well, absolutely, and after such a grind of a win that it was here, you wouldn't really think that it was such a grind for Lynchburg after you look at the first 2 sets, but they grinded. They had to have determination and grit, and they came out with the victory, came out with the match win. That's exactly what you want going into a game against Washington and Lee. Like you said, such a juggernaut in not just the ODAC, but in the country. This is exactly the situation that they want to be in. They're going off of a high 6-game win streak now, going to try and make that 7. This is exactly what you want going into that match.
For Guilford in the losing effort, Natalie Moore led them with 15 kills, 2 aces. She's a junior. Make sure you watch her as much as you can next year. The sophomore from San Juan, Crispel Alcantara, second with 14 kills. Their fantastic setter, Maddie Page, will finish with 37 assists. Bozarth led the Quakers with 23 digs. On the Lynchburg side, it was pretty equitably distributed. Again, I use that phrase a lot with Lynchburg because they really do spread the wealth offensively. Kaylee Keogh, 14 kills. Ava Meinhardt, 10. Leah DiNardo, 8. Bree Spainhour, 9, including the final point to win the game. Tori Williamson finishing with 7 terminations. Lynchburg had 10 aces as a team. Williamson and Leake had 3 apiece. Morgan Clark, 26 digs. Jana Leake, 40 assists in a well-rounded team effort as usual. Congratulations to Coach Kevin Cardoza and the Lynchburg Hornets. They move on. Season record now 19-11 for Lynchburg. A 19-win season, regardless of what happens Thursday. Something to feel really great about if you're Lynchburg. Their first conference win since 2017, Ethan.
Well, yeah, and if you're Guilford on the other side, you have to keep your heads held high. Obviously, you want to come out with a win, but for a first-year coach, which is pretty much just changes up the program entirely, for a first-year coach to help lead her team to a 5-seed in ODAC tournament game is absolutely huge, and it's something that they're going to build off of. And I would not be surprised if they're even better next year.
Oh, totally agree. I think the conference competition is going to be thrilling next season, and who knows who rises up to the top. The cream of the crop right now is the Washington and Lee Generals. They did get a straight set win over Avert. So they host Lynchburg Thursday. The other semifinal will feature Bridgewater traveling to Virginia Wesleyan. The Marlins take down Roanoke College in 4 sets. Bridgewater was a sweep winner against Randolph-Macon. Well, we've done enough damage for one night. We got to end it somewhere. We'll end it here. We think it'll be our final volleyball broadcast of the season, but hey, it's the playoffs, Ethan. You never know, right? Actually, it would be because, as you said, all the higher seeds are left in the tournament. So should Lynchburg win Thursday, they'll still be on the road for the finals against either Bridgewater or Randolph-Macon. Bridgewater or Virginia Wesleyan. Now I can't get anything right. That's our sign that we do need to end the broadcast somewhere. But always fun working with you, buddy. Man, what a game. What a night. Lynchburg great in sets 1 and 2. Still pretty good in sets 3 and 4. I think the Quakers they really brought it there. In the end, it's just not enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, this is a great Quakers team, a really young Quakers team in regards of the players and the coaching staff. It is also a really, really young team for this Lynchburg team, a majority sophomore, freshman, and a couple of juniors sprinkled in there and 1 senior. So a lot to look forward to for both of these teams.
Sure is. And for Lynchburg, the things to look forward to will be Thursday at Washington and Lee. Time TBD. Stay plugged in to the Lynchburg Hornets website and social media, whatever your preferred social media destinations are. Check them out there. And the Old Dominion Athletic Conference has got you covered with all the information on their website. Big thank you to everybody that tuned in. And thank you to our LHSN team for their outstanding hard work as always. And thank you to Ethan Morotsky. Kyle Haney saying so long, Lynchburg, a 4-set winner tonight over Guilford. Hornets are moving on to the Old Dominion Athletic Conference semifinal. Hope you enjoyed the action on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.